To Washington now, Kevin McCarthy making history in a way he definitely did not want to, blocked in his bid to become House Speaker by a group of hard-right lawmakers. Congressional correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill with the latest. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning. We really have not seen anything like this in 100 years. A bitter and historic standoff that has left the House without a speaker, without the ability to consider any legislation or swear in any members. This morning, chaos and confusion in the House. Republicans deadlocked over who will be the next speaker after Kevin McCarthy was dealt one defeat after another.
If you failed 3 times, how do you possibly pull this off?
You get to 218.
And how do you do it?
You come back, you continue what you're doing right now, talking, and you solve the small problems.
For the first time in 100 years, the House failed to elect a speaker on the first vote.
A speaker has not been elected.
McCarthy can only afford to lose 4 Republicans. He lost 19 on the first round and on the second round, too.
I don't want any more empty promises. I don't want any more, oh, don't worry, trust us, we'll do it.
Then his support started to chip away even more. McCarthy watching it all unravel from the floor.
Twice you voted for McCarthy.
Yeah.
The third time you voted against him.
Yeah.
Why the flip?
He doesn't have the votes. If you've been doing all this work and you haven't closed the deal, that should say something.
McCarthy's critics insisting he isn't the man for the job.
Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who has sold shares of themselves for more than a decade to get it.
McCarthy has made major concessions, even changing the rules to make it easier to remove a speaker. And in a closed-door heated meeting, he told Republicans, quote, "I'm not going away. I earned this job." All that didn't go over well.
So now here we are, being sworn at instead of being sworn in.
Those conservative members standing firm, but McCarthy not backing down.
Any reason for area where you're backing out?
No. I'll let you know when that happens, okay? But it's not going to happen.
And this fight has turned personal. Many of those conservatives say they do not trust Kevin McCarthy. One member even questioning why he was able to move into the Speaker's office, calling him a squatter. One group that was able to stay united was Democrats. They rallied behind their leader, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. As for what comes next, well, the House will reconvene in just a few hours and they'll begin the next round of voting, but with no clear resolution in sight, this could drag on for as long as it takes, George.
Boy, Rachel, it sure will. Let's bring in our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl, for more on this. So, John Carl, Kevin McCarthy says it's not going to happen. He's not going to drop out. It's also very hard to see how he becomes Speaker.
George, this is a colossal embarrassment for Republicans. They won control of the House, and they can't even get the new Congress sworn in. They can't get their new majority sworn in. They can't form their committees until there's a speaker. That means none of their talk of investigating Joe Biden, none of that can get started. How does it end? Entirely unclear how McCarthy can get the votes, but it's equally unclear how anybody opposed to McCarthy can get the votes.
So do we have any sense now about how this might end?
George, I see one of 2 possible scenarios. One is that McCarthy somehow convinces a critical mass of those opposed to him to simply vote present instead of voting against him. That would lower the threshold of votes he needs. But there are no sign that those people that are opposed to him are backing down whatsoever. The other scenario would be that McCarthy is somehow convinced to drop out of the race. Absolutely no indication that that is under consideration by him. And if he were to drop out, the only way another candidate would get support needed to become Speaker to get the 218 votes is if McCarthy fully endorsed that candidate. McCarthy may not have the 218 votes he needs, but he certainly has enough votes to block anybody else.
It's a crazy, crazy situation. John Carl, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.